Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You're tuning to CappingTV for the ozfortress Season 31 Grand Finals featuring Rhombus Craniums versus Alt. I'll be your caster tonight, and joining me will be RRLUCKY as a co-caster and Ghost and Lock on the analyst desk. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good. It's been a while.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, pretty excited.
Yes.
Long enough for sure. I mean, RRLUCKY is unfortunately unable to join us and show his lovely face on the cam, but that's his loss and the whole community's, I guess, because they won't be going blind today. Yeah, this game's actually pretty much a repeat of the last grand finals we're going to get as well. I mean, similar players, same teams as far as I know, a little bit of different names here and there, the other places, but that's how it is in Australia, I guess. What are exactly we seeing for the teams here, guys?
Well, last time these two teams met was in week 6 where they played Gallywasher and Sunshine, and it was a pretty close game. They swapped maps, so it was a draw overall, and the scores were 3-2 and 3-1, so yeah, quite a close game there. And I think for the season overall, Rhombus, they've been kind of cruising through. I don't think they're really too stressed about their win-loss record for the season, and compared to Alt's team, I think they're a mix of new and old players, so they've managed to make it to the grand final again this season with an upset over Redcoat's team, Beast Mode, in the upper bracket final.
I think the side of Rhombus Cranium, it's a mix of, again, what you said, old and new players, or experience, to say the least. But then we also saw in the semi-final change the roster around entirely, basically use the old Sorry roster, which I don't think we'll be seeing in this grand final. I think they're going to be sticking to a standard roster, which has been, correct me if I'm wrong, I'll start from Medic. Is it Essence or Lau Medic?
Essence.
Lock. Essence Medic. And then Demo was Atin, majority of the season? Or was it someone else?
I've got
you want to say it? If you got it, you can say it.
Alright, and so on Rhombus, it's going to be Vanquish and Lau on Scout, Tachyon and Silvo on Soldier, Essence Medic, and unfortunately Cookie on Demo.
Cookie on Demo, interesting. So they're not using their Demo sub being Enrif, okie dokie. But anyway, it's still a strong roster, nevertheless. And then what about the side for and Co, which I can't remember the team name, unfortunately.
I've heard on the grapevine as well that for every map they lose, they're going to sub out a player and bring a Soiree player onto the roster for Rhombus.
Rhombus Cranium, interesting.
So that'll be one of Paulson, Enrith, or Riot if they lose 2 maps.
And I'll cut you off there as well. The map bans and picks have all been done already, actually.
Oh, heck.
So Granary has been banned out by Alt, and then Rhombus Craniums does Metalworks. And the first map we'll be starting today will be Sunshine, which is picked by Alt and Co. What are your thoughts on this map picked by Alt?
Oh man, I wish I had to talk about it, because I was expecting Alt's team to pick Sunshine and Snake. And they picked Sunshine, and Rhombus, I didn't think they'd go for a Gullywash as a pick, because it's it can be dominated by a good Demo, and if Cookie's playing Demo, they might have some troubles compared to Daz, who is a good Demo in Prem.
Very good Demo.
I guess he's probably still an up and comer, I guess, but yeah, he's quite good.
I think as well, when you mentioned these two teams meeting last season, but obviously under a different roster, we do see Clear Cut coming through this time, which, when these teams met last season, it was the insta-ban of, I believe, Soiree during that time, which was the stacked roster. So obviously that going through, how do you think that will play out if we do get to there? Actually, no, if we do get to there, because we should, because it is map.
Yeah, we'll definitely get there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, I haven't actually played Clear Cut. I've been out of the game since they brought that in, but from what I've seen, I've watched a couple of games that Lau streamed on Clear Cut, and he was kind of owning, so it could go the way of Rhombus, but I think the fragging power of Doge and Elmo on Scout is just going to be destruction on a Koth map. And
then again, as for the side of this Rhombus Cranium side, the last time we saw them scrim was pretty much a Merc team, or what the logs I've seen is a Merc team against this Alt team, but otherwise they haven't really played in a full sort of team for scrim. So again, this is going to be very interesting to see how it goes. And those scrims as well, I guess, were reasonably close, even though the score was 5-3, but it's pretty, close side of the Merc team they had. But otherwise, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens this official.
Yeah, I was expecting Rhombus to try and utilize maps that sort of favored snipers and like chaos a bit more. I think they're looking to play a bit more of a chaos game compared to Alt's team. So maps probably like I would have expected like a process, Metalworks or something where you can really just use a sniper a lot. But yeah, they've gone with more traditional maps of just the Galleywash and Snake.
I think Alt, or I guess Rhombus, depending on whoever wants to pick it. But obviously, we don't see Product being picked, which I think is a good choice due to the fact that, Rhombus Craniums, they can go full chaos, play really loose style of TF2 and just, deep and, just kill stuff really. But then you just got the side of Alt and Co, which probably wants to play more methodically style TF2. But again, I think both these teams facing each other, I think this is going to be pretty chaosy, as obviously we've seen from the Rhombus Cranium side in their previous games.
Yeah, I think they've gone for the clear-cut pick, probably to hope that Rhombus haven't scrimmed it very much, if at all. I don't think they're a team that scrims very often, as far as I know. So the Alt team's probably looking to utilize like a bit. They'll be a bit more fresh on clear-cut in comparison.
Rhombus Craniums as well. Yeah, they haven't scrimmed much at all, and this Alt team, I think. To be honest, I think favorites going into this game, you're going to have to look at the Alt team. They definitely are prepared. They've been practicing. So I guess Rhombus Craniums, they're just going to go into this game, I guess, feeling too much pressure and just go in and do whatever, really. Alt's team, it's Alt's to lose, and he hasn't won a Prem Grand Final, so this could be his. And if he loses it, then it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us. But I don't think we've actually gone over Alt's team's roster yet. So, as far as I know, the roster is Elmo and Doge on Scout, Daz, Demo, Lex, Connor on Soldiers, and Dogroll on Medic. So yeah, definitely on paper, I think Alt's team looks a lot better than Rhombus, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it plays out.
We'll see what happens as well, because of the fact, I don't know, when was the last time Cookie actually played TF2 as well?
I don't know, but he's sort of a player that can just pick it back up straight away, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. But I think one thing that could be a concern on Alt's team is I feel like that Mumble can go very nuclear on of tilt with players like Elmo, Doge.
What about Lex?
Yeah, Lex and Dogroll. Yeah. They're all sort of, I guess, known for being very passionate when it comes to.
Well, at least they're passionate.
The game.
At least they're still motivated in the game and still very passionate, so that's good.
So if they're all arcing up, there could definitely be a lot of chaos in the Mumble, which will only further their issues with if Rhombus are actually playing in a chaotic way. There'll be a lot of med deaths and backcaps and things like that.
We do also have 6 players in the server, so I guess we're just waiting to see what's going on. So just doing a little pre-game DM. It'll also be interesting to see how the side Rhombus Cranium performs, because obviously we haven't seen them play. We haven't seen them scrim in a while. Especially, I think Essen's only just recently got a new computer, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
There's already up 12 players in the server. Real quick before we get to the mid, what are you guys' predictions for this map?
I think Alt, let's say 5-2.
I'm going with 5-1, Alt's favour.
Heck.
Alright, then RRLUCKY, take us through the mid.
Well, straight into the first mid. Cookie's a bit alone here. Silver is going to be sitting in Valley, and nothing too early on the mid. Both teams just need to heal up here. Alt's still waiting for an arrow here. Alt 2 in the server is both teams just kind of mirroring each other on this mid. No massive plays being made yet, but there's a fight going in Valley. Silver is going to go down, and straight away there is just this massive mirror here. S is actually going to find a frag, and this is favouring Red a little bit more right now. But now they have to re-heal, consolidate with their medic. Lex is going in, he's not going to find anything. And so far this is looking like it's going to go to the side of Red as Elmo trying to salvage, but it's not going to happen, and it's just a lonely demo on blue.
Yeah, really good forward play by the Red Soldiers there, managing to catch out their medic while he was in choke. Just good pressure, sort of keeping them in position and then just a great fallback to protect their own medic from that counter aggression. And that is going to probably allow them to get this free second, as well as a really good push into last, because they will have a very, very large Uber advantage. And for now, at least 2 frags advantage.
Yeah, just Elmo now coming up on a sentry, so I'll be interested to see if that sentry will actually even get to level 2 by the time that the Red actually opt to come in, as now they are peeking the left side. just peeking out, seeing what's going on, hopefully to spot that sentry and to have the best Uber possible. Is now Blue's actually got up to 60%, so Red delaying here a little bit is actually giving them a lot of Uber on the side of Blue. They're going to have 70%, but they're going to come in, lead the demo and the scout into this Uber. Lex is going to jump away here, and this Uber has found nothing so far. The Blue team do a really good job of kiting, and the Heavy comes out of spawn, and this is just going to be an absolute collapse here. Elmo finding 2 frags, and well, Red, they're kind of caught. They are still finding frags, but at the end of the day, they're just going to have to back out this loss.
Yeah, not bad frags there out of Red, but I mean, like you said it, the kite coming out of Alt's team was just really, really good, wedging themselves inside the spawn, not quite managing to be caught out of the fight, and then getting that Heavy back out and onto the point was just the end of the line for the push.
Yeah, well, that generates a 50% ad for Blue, as they do have to reconsolidate here and try and get out. It is really hard to get out of Sunshine last, I think, as everyone knows. So they do walk out. They just drop. The medic walks out first. He's going to drop to the trap, and that will now just generate another full Uber ad for Essence.
Maybe not the greatest idea, sticky trapping with the medic, but I mean, hell, they get another chance to test out their pretty confident last hold again. So we'll see what they can manage to get out of this one. And sure enough, the Uber does come in the right side onto the center.
Yeah, they're doing the same Uber again, and the sentry goes down. And is that a pause straight away?
Yeah, that looks like it.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so I imagine, I don't know, making a bit of a bold prediction that the round's gone through and maybe that they're pausing afterwards. I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, that does seem like the perfect time to pause and ask, why exactly did our medic walk over the sticky trap? And I wonder if that's internet problems or someone maybe was just a little too forceful with the Alt F4.
Yeah.
Well, round starting again, so we'll hand over back to Lucky and Luggnuts.
Well, thank you very much. We've been here before, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we're going to have to be here again. I'm assuming predictions still standing. Our analysts don't want to change their very favourable alt team predictions, but RRLUCKY, we're on to another.
I don't even think we're on a mid here, actually. I think they are playing from a similar scenario that they were at. So I think one team had like 40% and one team had Uber, so I think was the discussion in chat. So we're having a very interesting situation where they're just resetting the situation to what it actually was.
So they will be playing from second here. I mean, I'm not too sure why they decided to play from second. I guess Uber ad and then from second, something like that. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess any advantage you can take in a grand final, right? So they are now going to be actually trying to get through now this ad that they have generated from this reset. And as you can see, Soldier's trying to jump through, make some space, and there is going to be a bomb. And Daz is actually going to find a frag there. So that is going to help them. And the Soldier up top trying to jump Bell Tower, he's not going to get anything. And this might actually trigger Red to maybe have to back up here. They're trying to stay in to find anything, but Cookie's way too weak to stay in. He actually goes down to Elmo, and that is really going to help Blue Team re-push and get second.
Yeah, I mean, pretty clean there. Not really too much they could have done. It was kind of a dry push that they did decide to take through Valley there. But now we're going to see even Ubers with the red team this time holding last. And that's actually a really quick Uber in. Well, they haven't used it.
Yeah, well, they come in and Blue does use a tiny bit later, and we will have even players, but Blue, can they really re-enter with this little ad that they have? And I don't think they can. There will be a trade, the Soldier special, but nothing else really happening here, and I think it's just going to reset back to evens.
Yeah, I mean, not too much so far, just been a little bit of poking, a little bit of prodding, and pretty quick Uber trade there. So at this stage, it's just going to be both sides sort of whacking shots at each other, maybe go for a couple of sacks after they've built until, Blue's ready to push last, or Red gets some advantage to push out.
Yeah, and I mean, Blue has generated a tiny bit of an ad, but really not pushable at all, so I think we're just going to see some pretty standard stuff with the Vanquish going to be coming up on the Sentry. Probably just an anti-sack gun here to deny any soldiers that try and get in. So I imagine we're going to be seeing some sort of off-class eventually, and I'm not exactly sure who will be off-classing on either team. Maybe you know a little bit more about that?
Well, I mean, I could pull the really old sort of 2018 meme and say Silverdog's going to play Spy, but no, I reckon at the moment we're probably looking for either a Lao Sniper on the side of Red or, maybe Lex, actually.
Well, speaking of Lex, he does just go down to a trap that he sadly did not see, but no worries, because Silver also went down at the same time, so expecting to see Lex come up on off-class. Silver is going to come back up on Soldier, and he's not even going to be checking, so I just assume they're going to be predicting, maybe, but even Lex, now he is, it's Elmo, actually. He's actually going to be coming up on the Sniper, so, yeah, kept the spawn door open, and it's going to be Elmo on the snipe.
Yeah, right. I mean, good to see this. I don't know sort of what exactly Elmo's track record on sniper is. I haven't seen him hit too many nutty shots, but we'll see what kind of opportunity he can get here. The good thing with how this last is, I mean, this whole map is just really, really good for snipers. Even this last, there's so many angles to peek from.
And he's going to be trying going through lower, and he's going to take one rocket, but a soldier's going to come save him, and well, he's going to go down. So the bodyguard for Elmo will go down before Elmo does, and a counter-sack coming out straight away, and it's actually a pretty good bomb onto the medic, and he's actually getting so much damage off, and the force comes out.
This is now looking really good for rhombus craniums, as they're going to be able to push out of this with a full uber advantage. Of course, it all comes down to the hero shot from Elmo here, really, to see if he can manage to force them or drop the medic as they come through. It doesn't really look like there's sticks on the shutter either, so we're not going to see a repeat of what happened when Alt's team tried to push out.
Yeah, I mean, pushing out of this, there we go. I was just about to say, Lau goes down to a sniper. It's still, oh my god, Elmo hitting shots. I guess his track record is pretty good, because there was some 2 good shots there to really just reset this, and maybe even trigger a push, or maybe an aggressive peek here, but this loss is just so hard to push out of, especially when there's a sniper as well, just beaming on the door, and you just happen to walk out that door, and he just has to, you know, left click and you're dead. So Elmo trying to find some more stuff, gonna shoot ankles, but no conversion.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a really brutal situation now for rhombus craniums, because they had the perfect opportunity, uber advantage to push out of last, then lost to that sniper. So, I mean, at this stage, is a little bit of demoralization setting in after something like that happens, because now you're asking yourself the question of how the hell am I going to get off this last? It is, like you said, really hard to push out. And if Elmo keeps hitting these shots, it's going to be impossible for them to get anything done.
And look, Cookie's stuck in the corner here. He really has to have like a soldier or something help him. But there's no soldiers up for them because Vanquish is on the engineer, so Cookie does get out though, and Lex will go down. And oh, actually 2 picks here again for the side of Rhombus. So this will trigger another push out. But will we just have deja vu of Elmo just holding an angle?
Yeah, I mean, this is now looking not as good as the last push because they don't have an uber advantage, but they do have those 2 frags. Hopefully they'll be able to bully out Alt's team here without even using it. And with the sniper going down, that is going to look like a pretty big possibility, as they're going to be able to force the medic to pull out a cafe.
Essence really weak, but he is going to go grab a pack here, and they are just going to reset here on second. They did lose 2 players, but they are going to spawn in time, and actually they do deny a few spawns, but really, I don't think it will trigger too much of a push here. As it maybe looks like they're going to reset here. Yeah, I think they're just going to reset. Silver goes in deep, and his team looking to maybe just spam for him, and he's actually not going to find anything.
Yeah, I mean, interesting position. They judge the spawn times pretty critically. They don't really have the pressure to be able to get that before those forwards come out and start contributing to the post-fight, especially with the Uber to take that much longer. But I mean, this re-aggression here is pretty severe. Double sack coming through. Both Alt and Lex dying for that, just while Silvo's respawning. So they might actually decide to push this through Joe.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Here we go. This is what I was wondering. They're going to go for a trade here, and Elmo is a bit alone. He's actually really weak on the other side, and this trade looks pretty even. Maybe like one more flash for the side of for the Alt team, as they are going to be pushed out. They're just not in position here, and they're going to have to leave this as Silver trying to lock them out, as they're actually maybe a bit of a re-aggression now, as they actually find 2 frags. Cookie going down, Lau going down. Silver is weak, and the soldiers are weak. They're going to have to get out, or else they're going to lose Essence. As Lex going to try and close it down. Essence, well, he's just going to have to run for his life, and he's going to be chased down.
Yeah, I mean, not looking too good for him. Soldier coming into him, misses the air shot, does get some pretty big damage though, and he does go down. So now things are looking really dire for rhombus craniums, because they're holding their last again, this time with a very significant uber disadvantage, and without sort of any real time to set up things like sentry gun, which they're trying to do at the moment.
Yeah, we've seen this situation quite a lot from both teams actually. Being on each other's last right now, and nothing's been converted, but this is a great opportunity for the side of the Alt team to actually convert this. As they're now going to be peeking, doing the standard stuff, peeking, looking for sentries, as Lau is on the engineer, but they actually, no, they're not even peeking, they're just going to go straight in. Daz goes so deep, he's going to get so much damage on Cookie. It's not going to convert. Scout on point is going to die to the cone trap, and well, this Uber, it looks like it's not going to end up in anything, as this team's actually re-aggressing, but they aren't finding any frags just as yet, and the point time is so much though, as Elmo is going to try and salvage it. Daz on the point, trying to get on the point as well. Elmo behind the point, he's going to go down. And Daz, the lone soldier, he is not going to be able to cap the point.
I mean, I think he was playing Demo Man, but I get your point. Yeah, Daz just unable to be the hero there and make anything work for his team there. Things just kind of dropped off when that scout died to that cone trap, because there's not really much they can do to prevent that re-aggression once they're missing a scout. But it looks like Alt's team is not going to just sort of passively pull out because they want to contest for.
Silver just removed Lex from the server, as Tachyon is also going to be able to find a good frag here, as they're going to re-enter through Valley here. And, well, Blue, they can't really do a huge amount here. They send a soldier, but he's not going to be able to find anything, and that's a pretty clean regression from Rhombus.
Now Alt's team has the wind taken out of their sails, the momentum is going to slow down quite a lot, but they still are holding second with an even Uber charge, and this player will come up in about 5 seconds, so things are looking not too bad for them, at least not as bad as it was for Rhombus Craniums just a moment ago, but they are still forced to kind of hold back here while they do wait for their spawner.
Yeah, and well, here we go, even the Uber situation once again. Seen this a few times, but there hasn't been too much stalemating, really thinking about it. There's been a lot of double sacks and stuff like that in Silver. Here comes the double sack from Rhombus Craniums. Massive bomb, but, you know, I don't think they're going to find the med. The med is just long gone, and he is nowhere to be seen. As he's going to get out with a nice 150 HP, no damage taken, and now, well, Blue, they're going to try and take this, possibly for a trade into mid.
Yep, as long as they clear through those stats. It does just look like they're going to go for maybe a sack. No, they definitely are going to try to take this mid here, and they do get the Uber Force.
And Lex with a big bomb, they do lose 2, but Lex trades with Cookie, and as you said, they got the Force, so this is just almost a perfect situation here for the ult team, and no sacks even coming in, all soldiers have been spotted, so really no threat for them taking this mid, but it's how they continue. Vanquish is going to be trying to come in, he's going to go down, and we're just going to be seeing mid-cap from the ult team.
Yeah, sure enough, and they are going to take this now through Valley. Again, full Uber advantage, only 1 player down on Rhombus Craniums though. Does mean they have a pretty big opportunity to force here, and they are sending the soldier in, right, but doesn't quite get in.
That's quite unfortunate, he was just bouncing off people's heads and actually couldn't get a rocket off, so that's the soldier life a little bit, as they are going to be taking this cap and they don't really have an advantage anymore, and I'm interested to see how they take this. They're going to instantly trade in. The medic is, oh my god, he almost goes down actually, but he is going to be safe, and they're going to get Uber in time. They're going to trade here, and they actually haven't found any frags on the side of Blue, and they're going to have to leave here. Daz is caught in. Daz is going to go down, and it is Elmo just behind the point, dancing around. He can't do anything. Soldier coming in, trying to salvage something, but there's not going to be anything. Actually, they do find Vanquish, and Lex going to be onto Essence, but nothing found at the end of the day. Valiant effort, but they are going to have to be probably back all the way back to mid.
Pretty impressive being able to pull their medic out of that despite the sort of disastrousness of that push. They decide to take that Uber super aggressively. A bit of a questionable play when they'd already gotten a point off it, which generally means they didn't have enough to do it. But I mean, they thought they had the opportunity to get the mid there pretty early. He got into spawn just in time to save his Uber charge, and then just Uber charge post-fight beats almost anything.
And there's 20% out. They're going to use it extremely early here. Daz is going to go so deep, trying to land onto Essence. He's going to find the frag. That's exactly what they wanted. But now all they have to do is reconsolidate and protect their medic from this re-aggression from Red. They are going to lose Cookie here. And Soldier Silver is behind. So they're going to have to be wary of that here. As they are going to try and get this second cap and just play off this advantage. And Silver, he has been spotted. So it's going to be very hard for him to actually find anything. And he's just trying to live behind. But at the end of the day, what can he really get?
Both teams doing a really good job of shutting down these sort of post-fight plays. Silver taking down Daz, just there able to push in there. That's going to give him a huge ability to pressure the point there, as he's going to be... doesn't manage to do anything.
Well, he did make a good play there. He caught Daz on the rollout, but I guess he wasn't there in time to get back for his team, last team fight, and they just didn't, protect the point well enough. So Alt's team, after quite a while actually, a whole 17 minutes, they're actually going to get the first cap, and we're going to come into the second mid here. Silver's going to try and go fast, get some ground. He's not going to find anything really, not much damage either. He's going to jump around into Valley, but he's going to, he almost gets killed there. And Blue, I think they have a bit more aggressiveness here. They are on the bell tower and stuff. They were going to see a similar mirror mid that we saw on the reset map. And last time this did favor the red team, so going to have to see how this goes. Soldier's doing similar jumps into Valley. Vanquish is going to find a frag onto the Soldier. Elmo going to trade onto Lao. And Tachyon is going to find the medic there, so that's going to be massive. Elmo going to try and salvage that. Lex is going to grab a pack in Valley, but I think it's going to be very hard for him to find anything as he is in front. Demo jumping, Daz trying to salvage with his Soldier, but to no avail. He will get directed, and just one lonely scout left who has decided that he probably can't do anything against the whole red team.
Cranium's definitely doing a really good job here with the death ball, making sure that the medic doesn't die once they leak those players through. And that just solidifies the post fight for them. They're going to be able to take a second off this extremely easily, and then it's all going to be about last. But Elmo is on the sniper here, looking for the shot, gets a headshot on Silvo, doesn't get any frags though, which is going to allow Rhombus Craniums to push into last with a full Uber advantage.
Yeah, that's definitely saving grace that they do take down Elmo straight away, and that is probably one less class that is going to be buffed when they are going to come through for this Uber push. They are picking top right. There is only a heavy in their way at the moment, and they are going to be buffing up here. They're ready to go, doing the standard demo. Oh, the demo bonks his head though. Cookie not getting the cleanest entry, and they are going to find a frag onto Lex. The heavy's going to come in late though. He might actually do a lot of work here. Lau pretty weak, and the team's a bit separated here. Lau's going to go down. They are trying to reconsolidate here on the left side of this last, but it's not really doing anything. Lau is, Silver, sorry, is going to go down. Cookie's going to go down, and I think they have to cut their losses here, and another last push that just hasn't gone their way.
Yeah, I mean, these Rhombus Cranium last pushes haven't been quite as successful as Alt's teams has. I mean, we say that, but that's counting ones before the reset, which of course doesn't exist. But yeah, this is going to give a pretty big opportunity for Alt's team to now push out with a full Uber advantage onto the second. It is going to be up to Rhombus Cranium to try to force them here, but it doesn't really look like they can commit any players to that, so they just want to pull out onto mid.
Yeah, Soldiers sadly not in a position to do stuff straight away. Silver gonna go for an early bomb, but mistimes it just a little bit, and the other Soldier as well, trying to do stuff. They're gonna be weak, and Tachyon is gonna go down straight away to Elmo, and well, Vanquish is gonna be the one trying to salvage here, but he's not gonna find anything. A double sack to no avail, and Red, well, they're not in the best position, but they do have Uber. That is their only saving grace right now, but I imagine they're gonna have to give up this second point because their spawners aren't up for 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's a pretty rough idea going for that double sack there, because if you don't get the force, then they are sitting here and having to give up second, even with even Ubers, and we're now in another situation where they're having to hold last with 1 round down.
Yeah, and I mean, Essence, there is actually trade in lobby, interestingly enough. I'm not exactly sure how that went down, as there will be a frag in the favour of Red here, and they do want to try and get out here, but again, it's just so hard getting out of this shutter, as they are actually going to be successful this time, but Vanquish is going to go down to Lex behind, and they're just not in a great position here, Rhombus, and they're just going to have to cut their losses once again. Lex is going to be in. He's going to find so much. He's going to get 2 more frags, including the medic, and I can only imagine this is going to be a round conversion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's just brutal for Rhombus Craniums. That push out was just looking really good, but they just didn't quite manage to protect their flanks well enough and just allowed all the space needed for Lex to come in and just go massive while they were trying to pull out to La.
Yeah, that's pretty good awareness there from Lex to find a frag on the flank and then just stay there and wait for the perfect opportunity to re-jump and find the vital frags as we see this next mid and Silver once again going fast, but once again not able to find anything too valuable there as Soldier Bombs coming in very deep. They're not actually going to land on the medic, they're going to try and get the Soldier, but they both die as they land on different things. So Essence is in just such a bad spot there. He's going to get caught out, and Elmo is coming back in. Their team's coming back in with heals, but Silver is going to be behind the medic. He's going to jump, and he's going to miss his rocket. But I think the medic is in such a bad spot right now, it's going to be very hard to escape. And he wants to grab the pack as Elmo wants to keep fighting. And he's going to get chased down by Lau, and Elmo is going to find Cookie, but Lau, he doesn't actually find the frag. Elmo comes and saves his life.
Yeah, because that was a close one. I mean, that medic was on 2 HP for the entire second half of that mid, trying to avoid all these players just going at him. But again, Alt team has shown again and again to be able to be pretty good at protecting their medic in these post fights. Unlike Rhombus Cranium, who seems to be, better protecting their medic at the start of the rounds. But yeah, definitely went pretty awfully for Rhombus Craniums, and now they're looking at another situation where they're holding last with Uber disadvantage. Of course, in this case, however, their medic did come up fast enough because of how long the fight took. And so they will at least maybe get it for the last one.
Yeah, they will. Cookie's actually going very weak. They're going to use right into him, and Cookie's going to go down. A bit of out of position there. They're going to try and get right side, but this Uber actually might not find anything else, and they might actually end up with an Uber disadvantage here in this last push. And it'll be interesting to see what Red is going to be able to do with it with their play disadvantage they are going to have to use here. But I think Blue could just kite this and just get a small advantage off of this.
Yeah, I mean, definitely they're already at 20%, which is giving them a pretty decent, usable advantage. Although it does look like they're trying to sort of immediately regress here. Damage and frags coming out from both sides. 3 players down on the side of Rhombus Craniums. This is now looking very, very bad for them. There's a lot of pressures coming out of the point. Medic launch into the sky, and that's another round for Alt's team.
Yeah, that was a very good push, actually. I didn't expect them to re-enter. I thought they maybe played safe and, just get their advantage. But they just came straight back in, and I think Elmo finding 2 frags at the beginning there, and then the rest was history, and that's a 3rd round now. It's going to be very hard, I think, for Rhombus craniums actually make a comeback here, and gonna see pretty much a carbon copy start of the mid. Cookie going Valley this time, and they're going to aggress on their left side. Soldier tries to come in, but he's going to get denied. Lex going to go deep. Essence doing good movement, but he's going to get piped and rocketed at the same time. He's going to insta-gib, and now it's all about the salvage job for the red team, but they're not really going to be able to find too much here, as once again, their medic just doing such a good job of positioning himself in the right spot for his team to protect him.
Yeah, and that's now just looking off from his craniums. Even though we said that the tilt would be coming out of Alt's team tonight, that's going to be something that's really going to be hard to get over mentally, because you now have 7.5 minutes left on the clock. You just got wiped. You're facing down another full Uber disadvantage last hold. I mean, things are looking pretty bad for them at this moment, and it's going to be something that's going to be really hard to recover from, not just in the game, but mentally as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're the alt team, you don't even have to do anything here. You could just stale it out if you really wanted to, but it looks like, you know, maybe they just want to put the nail in the coffin and go for another one. Silver tries to do something, but he gets red, and he will not be able to do anything here. They're going to use an Uber into his scout. They're going to try and find Cookie. They're not going to find it. Sentry does go down. Silver also going down. And they do have a small player advantage here, but they do lose Daz, and the Soldier goes in deep, but the frags are just, it looks like a bit of a sea of red right now. Elmer actually getting a lot of cap time, but the only player up is the medic, and I don't think he's going to be able to back up against this old red team, but he is going to try and exit lowers, and I think he's going to get found.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate for him. He's still sitting behind you.
No.
Goes for the back cap.
No.
There's no way he gets this. Sure enough, Silver coming in and stopping the grimace timeline, if you will, by getting that medic just there. Now things have turned around. This is exactly what Rhombus Cranium wants. 6 minutes is enough time to get some points back if they play this very, very quickly. They do have full Uber advantage pushing on to mid now. If they play this properly, because of how late that medic spawn was, they will be able to get 2 points.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, this is the momentum that they need to keep up, and they're gonna have to, you know, just get this flow through. They really need a round like right now, and Blue, you know, they're not gonna make it easy. They are gonna be spamming heavily for pressure, and they do have a sniper as well, and they are gonna find Lau. And Silver also going down. This is worst case scenario. 3 players dead, 4 players dead, 5 players dead. It's just Essence left with his Uber charge, and he's gonna get chased down. There's no way he gets out here.
I mean, you can't describe it any better than that worst case scenario. I mean, they didn't even manage to use the Uber and sit on second with Uber disadvantage there. They had to pop just to get the medic out alive while the entire rest of his team died. This is absolutely brutal for them, because now they're facing down a second hold with full disadvantage, and they're on such a massive disadvantage that they probably won't even get in time to hold last if Alt's team moves quickly.
Yeah, and the big saving grace is that Daz will just go down to Cookie there, and they are going to use actually really aggressively. They are going to get Cookie, but that's it. They are not going to find anything else. Elmo is going to go down, but really, it's just a bit of a scrappy fight here. Red players all over the place, and they are going to get found. Silver playing for his life here, and he is going to go down. So he does find a trade for it, but really, at the end of the day, that's 4 players down. Only Cookie just spawning now.
That has bought some time now for Essence to get his Uber charge and Rhombus Craniums to hold his last with an Uber, but I mean, with so many players on the respawn, they're going to need to milk as much time as they can out of this one.
And here we go, Essence is going to go down very weak, and he is going to use, and this is this sort of aggressiveness, and then they just leave when they get the force play. We saw this just before, and they're going to do it again to almost perfect, you know, degree. They only lost Lex there. So now they have an 80% advantage with 4 minutes on the clock and 3 rounds up. Like, I don't see Red being able to, return the rounds at all.
No, I mean, this is the time where someone comes in and says, well, technically you can do a round in 1 minute, but I mean, at this stage, that's not really likely to happen, and Alt's team has got to be sitting here thinking that we can take as much time as we want here. We don't have to rush this at all.
Yeah, and I mean, will they even go? I mean, I guess they could, but no, it looks like Essence is going to get the Uber, so all they have to do is just sit here and just look at that clock wind down and, you know, celebrate their first map victory. And, yeah, I mean, they lost an Uber advantage, but really, they didn't need to push off. So, Red Team, they're trying to look for something, but again, one of the hardest lasts to push out of. Like, I just don't think there's anything that can happen here for Red. There needs to be a miracle.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those cases where Red now starts to think, what's the best thing for their mental? How are they going to be able to recover from this to give their best for the next game and not just, you know, get rolled with the momentum?
And, yep, they do try and trade, and they do get a trade off. They do get a frag in their favor, and they are going to try and fight second here. But the frags now looking like a bit... Oh, my goodness, just decimation from Blue. And they might get a 4th round as a bit of a celebratory thing, and they might even try for the 5-0, who knows, but we'll have to see if they actually convert this round as Cookie fighting for his life in lobby, but he is just going to go down, and Essence also going down, and that cap is free for Blue to take, and well, that's 4-0, and the only question left is can they go for the 5-0?
Say hi to the Dog Breath Frag movie that's going to be posted to YouTube someday soon as he gets a 7-kill streak off the end of that one.
Yeah, that's an incredible performance so far, and yeah, the ult team definitely recovering from the first server reset as the spring coming out, but Cookie's going to say no, clips for you, as Elmo is going to find Silvo on this bit of a nothing mid here, as they're going to be playing it pretty standard. Daz is going to be in a spot, he's going to get caught out by Lau. Elmo going to trade onto attacking him, but Lau going to trade onto Elmo. Lex is going to find a frag, and it's just trade frags everywhere here, but all in all, it's probably favouring red here, as they do have more damage classes up, and well, the medic's on the red side of the map, so I don't see him living to anytime soon.
No, this is just stat padding of really both teams here, but I guess Rhombus Craniums is desperately trying to make one of our analysts right, as I think both of them predicted at least one round on the side of Rhombus Craniums, so, you know, if they do convert this, that shows to the predictive skills, I guess, of the analyst here.
Yeah, and I mean, here we go, this is their opportunity. The med hasn't even spawned yet, and they are about to get Uber and be able to push into last here. Silvo will have to come in late to this, but Daz still hasn't even spawned, so I can imagine they want to go in. Lau taking 1v1, gets saved by Cookie there, and they are going to use very early here as the Huntsman Sniper. Well, he's not going to be able to shoot through an Uber charge. Here we go. Heavy coming out and spawn. He's probably not going to be able to kill all the players here. Demo comes in, Daz trying to salvage. He does find Cookie, but there's that first round, and I think the predictions may be correct.
Yeah, exactly. 4-1, I think, was the exact prediction of one of the analysts. I'm not too sure. We'll have to throw it back to them to have a look. But yeah, it's just dead time at this stage. There's no possible chance that Rhombus Craniums can win this one. And we saw 2 Huntsman Snipers for that last defense off Alt's team, so they're not really trying too hard at this stage either. It's just some stat padding.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a good turnaround from the first thing that, first game that quote-unquote didn't happen, because we had to have a server reset. From Alt's team, they looked a little bit all over the place. It was a small amount of gameplay to really go off, but for what we saw is a little bit, oh dear, this might be going in favour of Rhombus, but this is a pretty big bounce back from them. As I said, from the small gameplay that we had, but yeah, they get a closest one out pretty convincingly, and I guess that means we might be seeing some class changes on red?
Well, potentially. I'm not too sure exactly how they might be trying to go through to this one, but, I mean, for this at least, mid hasn't even been capped. That's just some spam, so we'll have to see exactly what the analysts say about what's been going on in this game.
And 8 seconds, as yep, that will be the Alt team going to be taking the first map of this grand final of this best of 5. So of course they have to just win 2 more maps to get 3, and they will be the victors. But we have possibly 4 maps still to go. So I think this is the perfect time to throw it over to the analysts. Give us a bit of a shakedown of what happened.
Close enough prediction, 5-1, 4-1, same shit. But
That's a code.
do you think it was a close game? Look, even despite the scoreline being 4-1 for the side of Alt and Co.
Yeah, I think so. Like, both teams were pushing on last. Rhombus just failed every last push. Like, I think they had 3 or 4 opportunities and then just didn't convert because they were kind of focusing different players. Like, they'd end like half the team would end on left and half on right, and they weren't really like shooting the same things, and the heavy just pooted to them. I did sort of notice that Rhombus were fairly like undisciplined, I guess, in their positioning because a few of them are off-classing and they don't play as much, I guess. So they're a bit lax on positioning, and Alt's team were taking advantage of that pretty often.
Will we see what you mentioned? Will they actually sub players, or do you think we're just going to stick with the same roster all the way through?
I think, given the scoreline, I would think that they swap someone out. And looking at the logs, Tachyon had quite a rough game, so I wouldn't be surprised if they swap him out for a Paulson or a Riot. Perhaps a Paulson to bring the comms and the clarity to the team.
I mean, one thing for sure, the scoreline. Looking at the logs now, Elmo actually had a pretty good game, going 28 for 14, and also he did quite well in that sniper, so hitting some really nice shots. But again, looking at the logs, Blue won 3 mid fights while Red only won 2. So again, it is actually quite close. But one thing I want to point out for the side of rhombus craniums is I think the one mid you saw them using the strategy, which actually worked out well, and they obviously won that mid. However, the round conversion just wasn't there. But I think rhombus craniums, they definitely have something to show, but only just time will tell if these maps that we have going on.
Yeah, Elmo was owning on the sniper. Like, he was hitting some really crazy shots. And Doge and Elmo especially, like, they had 28 and 25 frags between them. That's like over half their team's frags. Like, they were really dominant in cleaning up the frags. It's surprising that Silvo and Lao actually topped the damage for the server, even though it was a 4-1 game.
I think on the side of Rhombus, Cookies and being the one to main call, I think you could say this is like one thing, but then again, they were playing a lot, not really connected with each other. Like,
Yeah,
no one on that team played, like, I guess, badly. I mean, Tachyon did unfortunately die 20 times, so I believe he is roaming, correct, or doing all the stacking.
He's pocket.
Or pocket. Okay.
He took quite a lot of heals as well, so
yeah.
it wasn't really using the resources.
I guess he just, had probably a bag, but I think we're just seeing the normal roster. Yeah, so it looks like Rhombus will be sticking with the same roster from that last map. But yeah, I mean, unfortunate first map, but we'll see what happens in Lock, keep talking and fix my camera.
Yeah, and on Tachyon sort of low impact game, I think it was just a factor of the two scouts that were dominating the server, like Doge and Elmo. Like, they had 15 and 12 soldier kills between them, so they were just sort of eating Tachyon alive. And on the medic stats, like, it's pretty even. Like, Essence and Doggerel both played pretty much the same. I think the heal spread's slightly better on Doggerel. He gave it a bit more. I think the flank could probably get a bit more heals. I mean, Elmo's pretty notorious for not taking many heals, or not needing them as well. But yeah, I think Alt could have a bit more, maybe. And on Essence's team, Lao taking 28%, so he was taking quite a lot. I think, even though he
though for them, right?
Yeah, even though he was sort of second top in the damage, I think he probably should have done a lot more, taking that many heals from the team.
He also isn't the one to be really vocal on what he wants to do as a scout.
Yeah.
In all honesty, he's I guess on medic he actually talks more than scout. In all honesty, but yeah, I guess scout he doesn't talk a lot to commit for something. But obviously, Cookie's there, so I guess Cookie can say do this, do that. But I think time will tell us in this map and see what happens.
Yeah, one thing I noticed too in all the fights is Rhombus were relying a lot on solo plays, like Silvo and Tachyon. I saw Tachyon get quite a few med picks, but all the times that Silvo and Tachyon were doing things, it was just with no support at all, like just a solo bomb into the whole team. Yeah. And they were getting stuff done, but there's only so much they can do as like a single player.
A lot of it was also a lot of some mids as well, a lot of individual sort of, one side maybe had one fight and the other side you had another fight. So a lot of separate sort of fights for the side of Rhombus Craniums, which I understand when you point out the Silvo Tachyon sort of jumping in by themselves to do something and not really synced. But then you look at the side of Alt, they were doing a lot of good soldier bombs and double bombs.
Yeah, King Lex was kind of owning.
Lex actually, to be honest, even though people can, say some stuff about him, I think he actually played quite well this game and did a lot for his team. Some of the plays he did. Yeah.
Another thing I noticed of Rhombus is when they're on last and they were getting sniped by Elmo and stuff, not once did any of them swap to Spire to check the off classes and stuff. So
yeah, now we're going live though. Well, I want to grab another quick predictions from you before this RRLUCKY takes us.
I'm sticking with 5-1.
I'll go 5-3. I think it'll be closer.
Well, beginning straight away here, and a lot of damage goes off, but no frags just yet. Elmo is going to go down straight away to Vanquish, and oh my goodness, there is going to be trade on Silver, an aggressive scout play there. It's going all the way at blue right now. They've just collapsed on the side of red team, and 65% they're going to have an advantage here if they can just close this mid out, and they do just that. It is a complete wipe, and that was quite instant, to be honest.
Yeah, beautiful pipe from Cookie onto Cookie by Daz just at the end of it. But no, yeah, that soldier coming up, I think through drop down behind onto the medic, sort of midway through that, just absolutely crushed Rhombus Cranium's chance there of carrying through that mid. And now they're again facing a last hold with 100% disad. This is a map they've chosen, however, so they should be a little bit more comfortable on it. But this is another last that's very, very hard to push out of. So there's going to be some horrible flashbacks at the moment.
Yeah, definitely one where a lot of backcaps will happen, so it's very hard to clear out as this uber advantage. It's going to be used. The scout goes straight to point, and the traps just aren't being dead right now. They're not going to actually do anything. They can just collapse into the point with this much cap time. They're going to be clearing sticks for their players to get on, but the frags are still going to side of red, but this cap time is just so much. Elmo jumps onto point. He's going to not be able to find it. He's going to find 2 kills actually here. Dad's going to assist him in 1, as now it's just a soldier trying to block this point from 2 players right now. The medic also doing his best to assist. Essence on point. He doesn't know where Daz is. It's going to be a melee trade as the noggin is going to prevail there. What a chaotic last push. It looked like it was going blue side with all that cap time.
That shouldn't have even been close. After that, even after that cap time got pushed off, Red had a lot of control over that area, made sure they had someone on point 24/7. That fight should have ended so much sooner, but those arrows coming out from the blue medic just completely carried the end of that mid and allowed Elmo to get 2 frags and even allowed Daz to stay alive for much longer.
And, well, it looks like they're doing an okay job here of getting out so far. Essence actually weak though. Lex could go deep, and, well, Lex, just with a simple bomb there, he is going to force Essence, and as we talked about just before, this last, probably one of the worst ones to push out of, is gonna get forced. But in consolation, they do find 3 frags, actually, onto Lex, Alt, and Elmo there. So they are, even though they are uber disadvantaged, they are going to be able to even maybe take mid here. So we'll see how this turns out.
Yeah, most likely, but with how Alt's team has been playing, I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to take a super aggressive use here as soon as they see the medic. Daz surviving that bomb actually is going to give them a much better position here to sort of take more space and not give up the.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just all their players going down once again on red there. It looks like they were going in a little bit like, you know, alone there. Vanquish was a little bit alone there. As oh my goodness, this is a massive flank there. And, well, it's going to be cleaned up by Elmo, and that's a complete collapse from the red team. And this, well, this should almost certainly be a conversion from blue. They're going to uber onto the point. The spawners are rolling out, but it takes so long to be able to touch the point, and that's going to be the first round for the old team. And we are not even that long into the game. My time is broken, but I think that's maybe like 2 or 3 minutes in.
Yeah, something really quick on that one. I mean, 2.5 minutes, I think, taken off the clock. Or 3.5. Like you said, timing is awful. I didn't choose to do maths. But yeah, I mean, that's just not what you want to have. Get caught out that hard in that lob area as you're pulling out.
Yeah, and now we're going to go into another mid here. They're both playing their side. Tachyon is going to be able to find the entry frag this time for his team. High bomb coming from Lex. He's going to fake it just to get some eyes off of his team for a bit. As Daz, he's going to find a nice pipe there onto Tachyon. And they aren't in a great position here, Blue. They are a little bit locked out, which is interesting to note here. So they're actually going to concede that, even though it looked like they had a frag advantage.
Yeah, I mean, didn't look too good because of how disconnected they were. They didn't really have that position to go through it, and they took a lot of damage while they were sort of in that really bad position. But Daz getting deleted by Silverdox as he tries to walk through that choke. Oh, sorry, by Cookie, sorry, as he tries to walk through that choke. He's going to completely stop any of ideas of a aggressive repush that they had going there. They're just going to be stuck holding this sort of second point until they get their players back.
Yeah, now it's going to be interesting to see what Rhombus want to do here. The demo is dead, but he is going to spawn, and it looks like they're just going to reset here, so bit of interesting thing there. It is hard to push into second still when they have 2 soldiers up with the amount of spam they can do, but looks like they want to play around this sniper on Silver, when I can see why. Daz going to go down once again. He just rolled out and got there and just gets headshot. So now this is the opportunity that they want to take. They're going to get all the room, big door that they can for Silver to hit some shots, and they are going to use here as the blue medic does get really, really low. And, oh, but he's not in a position to save his demo. Cookie's going to get left out to dry. And Tachyon now going to have to defend choke as Vanquish also goes down. Lex is going to go down to Silvo, but this is not a great spot for red.
No, not at all. They do have full uber advantage here, though, so as long as they wait for this plays, and Silver keeps hitting those shots, that's 3 down now on the side of blue, and they're going to be able to walk this in very easily. But I mean, while this last we said is a really hard one to push out of, it is also a really hard one to push into. It is a very easy one to hold with off classes. So this is a situation where it's entirely possible for Alt's team to delay long enough to get Uber as long as they have the right off classes here, which they do seem to have with Dog Breath on Heavy.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those map lasts that you can really just even run 3 off classes. Is that Uber is going to come through Shutter. They aren't going to find anything. In fact, they're going to lose a player on Silver. And are they even going to trade? Not yet. The Heavy's going to come in, and this Uber is just a disaster and a bit of a weird pop out of blue. They, in my opinion, they didn't even need to use there, but they do. But still, they'll definitely be able to take second. As you know, those 2 players definitely won't be able to hold it.
Yeah, now this does give a little bit of an advantage to Rhombus Craniums. This is something that I definitely expect Alt's team to use. I don't know if Rhombus Craniums is going to want to go super aggressive here, or if they just want to sort of build this up, hold this mid, and maybe see if they can do more sort of forward plays with Silver on Snipe.
And here they come. Dad's going to find the entry frag. Lex is going to go down, but the scouts are going to be using that space created by the Soldier Death and going to clean up. Dad's finding another frag. Tachyon going down as well. They're just losing so many players all the time. Essence going to find his 2nd frag of the match, but it doesn't matter when now, you know, you're again what's going to be a full Uber disadvantage.
Jeez, that's going to be really awful for Rhombus Craniums there. They had that sort of slight bit of Uber out holding that mid, and then they just crumbled to that really good pressure coming out of Alt's team. Now they're holding this last again. Full Uber disadvantage. Now, this is one of the lasts where it's possible to hold it, even in such a dire spot. They only have Vanquish on Heavy, and so far their last holds on this haven't been the most stellar.
Yeah, well, this Uber is going to come out, and they are going to try and get onto point straight away with Elmo, just like they have every other time, but Tachyon's hiding in secret, but he's yet to hit a rocket, as Elmo will escape under it. The frags are all going Blue's way. They just reconsolidate really well. It is just Lau and Essence here, trying to save this round, and Lau, well, there's not much you can do with 185 HP against a Demo and a Scout, and that is going to be a 2nd round. A little bit slower, that one, but still pretty convincing on the last push.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be a lot more demoralization now. You've got to turn this around right now and start winning this mid-fight right here. Because, I mean, they can't end up on last again like that. They've been losing too many even fights to this pressure coming out of Alt and the humans.
And here we go. Another mid, and it looks pretty much exactly the same as every other mid so far. And they have been going in the favor of... actually, they did trade mids, so... As Lexi's going to deep bomb here, and the bombs are just massive. Essence Vanquish going down, the Soldier bombs absolutely perfect. As they do lose their medic in trade, so that is the saving grace for the side of Rhombus. But that double bomb from the Soldiers was, for a mid that's pretty hard to pull off with Soldiers, that was pretty much spot on.
I mean, I might need down to the sky to confirm that, but I think that was a Demo Man earshot onto the medic. Not a great way to go down. Like you said, it's pretty good. They've managed to even out the medic, so they are holding last again, but they're not holding with disadvantage. This is a new position for them to be in so far in this map. But again, like we said, and like we've seen before, this is a really, really hard last to push out of. I mean, there's just no real way to get a lot of pressure onto 2nd without getting forced.
Yeah, I mean, they're slowly improving here. You know, they've been holding with no Uber at all, and now they're, you know, holding with Uber, so... slowly progressing in this match, but you know they definitely want to be getting a lot more done faster. As now they, you know, you really can't do a lot on this last in terms of, as you said, getting out and even making a play. It's really hard to get anything done, and they do have an anti-sack gun just in case Blue want to go for maybe a double sack or even just a single sack just to deny that Soldier. As the Sentry will pretty much see all of the last, and it'll be very, very miraculous if the Soldier's able to get in. Here comes that Soldier, and yeah, there's how that Sentry works. A bit, almost the Sentry always pushes it into the medic, but at the end of the day, that Soldier will go down.
I mean, I could go on for hours about proper sentry placements on this map, since how so far I've not seen a single properly placed sentry gun in both maps so far, but no one wants to hear the ramblings of an engineer main, so at this moment we're just going to see this taking this advantage here from Rhombus Craniums to sort of take some forward space in lobby, set up some traps, see what kind of opportunities they can get before falling back to last.
Yeah, and I mean, it's even hard just to sack out of here. I don't even think we saw a sack there, so the thing to note here is that we see a Pyro on Blue, so typically when we see this, the Pyro does go into water, goes onto point, and air blasts anyone off who's trying to cap, so I'm assuming we're going to be seeing a play similar to that, as going Pyro is definitely not something you see often in Sixes.
Well, I mean, I see it every day whenever I played Sixes, but About that, like you said, Pyro has gone under the point. They have popped the Uber on them, but the Scout does go down to the sticky traps, which is going to give them no capping pressure. So now they just have a Pyro sitting in the middle of the enemy team, flaming everywhere, and a super late pop coming out from rhombus cranium.
Yeah, actually, that's almost turned out favourable for Blue there, as they're almost going to find another frag there, and Lex is going to be very weak though, and he's going to get chased down. So actually, this will favour Red at the end of the day. Lau going to try and chase, but he's going to get juggled by Daz. But they probably will have to leave second here. Actually, they might get spawners in time. It's going to be interesting to see how this timing works out. But yeah, that push, you know, Elmo dying there, sadly, to some stickies, is just kind of ruins that whole plan. So
yeah, I don't know if they need better air blast clearing or if there's just some really good aim through that Pyro. It shouldn't really happen, but it happened anyway. They're not too upset about that, I wouldn't imagine, because they're now sitting here again with roughly even Ubers. On second, which just gives them another chance to take a crack out of this. And this is one of the big problems at this point for the defending team, because even after a failed push, they still can't get out of it.
yeah, and essentially it's going to go down early. They are going to go for a trade here, and maybe they thought they had a bit of ad, but at the end of the day, it is going to be Soldier going down on Blue. Elmo's trying to re-enter. They're trying to refight this. Elmo does find Essence, which is actually a massive frag. They don't even have to re-enter if they don't want to, but Silvo is going to come in and salvage, but there's so much cap time. Can Daz find a way to weasel himself onto point? I really don't think so. He's stuck on the left side here, 1 HP. He is going to go down, and this is the scary part as well of Gully Rush, is that you want to get out, but also that cap time is just so scary.
And as we see, Alt is trying to go behind. This time they're just looking at these players second at the point, and this is now you have to make the decision. Do you want to go fully out of this? Do you want to leave a player back? It does look like they're deciding to leave a Soldier back, which is going to sort of blunt their ability to push out of here, especially with how aggressive Alt's team's been playing, but they do lose 3 players to it.
Yeah, and they actually managed to get out, so that's really well done there from the side of Rhombus. I'd say probably the hardest loss to get out of, so very well done, and they are going to try and possibly find their way onto mid here. They don't really have too much of an ad. It's not even 20%, so Blue are playing pretty passive, grinding, maybe thinking they have a little bit more of this ad than they think, but maybe that'll allow Red to get in. Silver is going to be peeking, trying to find a way in, and it looks like Cookie is rotating to Big Door.
They are playing off those munch advantages and disadvantages, you know, calculating those Ubers down to the percentage. Silver going down there is going to completely stop any sort of forward pressure that is going to come out of rhombus craniums, though. And now we're in a situation where Alt's team loves to be in, where they can just play super aggressively with that Uber trade.
Yeah, and that Uber trade is not going to really find anything, but it is going to end up in like a 3% ad for the side of the Alt team, so not really pushable ad there at all. And we are just going to go on a reset, and probably just a little bit of classic TF2 grinding on Gully Rush second.
I mean, not too much classic TF2 gameplay with Alt's team here, because they do like to just go as aggressive as humanly possible. I wouldn't actually be surprised if they did that Uber trade for the sole purpose of trying to get a little bit of extra Uber percentage for another super quick Uber trade again afterward. I mean, with how they've been playing these advantages, even this sort of 5-10% ad they have is something that we've seen them use on before.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they are trying to go in now. They're at 90%, and it doesn't look like they are. No, they're rotating Big Door, so making room here to try and do something, but nothing to avail. Both teams have Uber. Elmo, well, he tries to go behind, but Cookie has other plans, and is just going to det his 3 stickies, and Elmo is going to type, "Cookie is too smart for me" in chat, and he's going to probably maybe come from an off-class here, as our Vanquish going wide, and he's actually going to go down there, so trade on scouts, and we'll be interested to see if we see off classes here.
We've just seen the Silverdock sniper earlier on, so now we'll see if Elmo decides to go up, and nope, just coming up scout, unless they're hitting someone back. Nope.
Lex is actually going to come in. He's going to find a nice frag. He's going to get traded, but the room gotten was massive. They are going to trade once again, and Cookie goes down in this trade, so overall this is a slight advantage here for Blue. Elmo going to be here for the pincer, but he's just going to go down, and well, I don't know if Blue can do much here. They can get second, which is actually quite good. But they probably wanted to go all the way, but they're not going to be able to as Red. Well, they're going to be re-entering from top river, and this is going to be a scary proposition for Blue. As oh, massive bomb there from Alt. He's going to be able to find the med, and it's just a sea of blue in the kill feed, as that was a massive collapse.
On Lex, they're just taking so much pressure off their team and just turning the tables completely. Now it's just going to be a complete walk-in, as no one on the enemy team is up to contest this apart from Tachyon. He quickly goes down, and that's another round for Alt's team.
Yeah, massive. These soldiers have been really impressive on the side of the ult team, so I'm going to see if they're going to be able to continue this on this mid. Blue going to be taking more mids overall in this map so far, so I'm going to see if they can continue that trend. As again, pretty similar so far, as one soldier trying to go fast onto Cookie, not going to find too much damage. As they're going to find this side, Tachyon onto Daz. Silver going to try and follow up. Lau is going to find the frag at the end of the day, but Cookie gets launched into their side. He's going to go down. Lex finds an opening. He's going to hit a nice direct onto Essence, but Red are finding all the frags, and I think they're going to find the mid, and actually at the end of the day, take this mid.
This is now the situation they want to be in. There's 14 minutes left on the clock, so plenty enough time to turn things around here. 5 times on the cap. It's going to be a really quick cap from them. It's going to be even Ubers facing last again, which is not some situation that Rhombus Craniums has been excelling in before. But again, things have changed around now. Now it's Alt's team that's going to have a really hard time pushing out of that last, and Rhombus Craniums going to be able to do basically whatever they want to try to crack open that nutshell of a last hold.
Yeah, and we will see the Elmo sniper, and this is scary, this little gap. As we are going to be up here. Silver's on Spy as well, interesting to note. As a soldier is going to come in. Lex.
It's on the last.
Wow.
He's capping the last.
Oh my
Grenades for the
goodness.
demo, man. I mean, I've been saying it. I've been wanting to see the Silverdock Spy again. He hasn't been pulling it out. Finally gets it. Takes down the demo man. Now going to be looking for a really good position for Rhombus Crams here, as they do have that demo man advantage. If they want to get any pressure off this, they just decide to leave it and kind of pressure it again with Silverdock's now up on snipe.
The 2018 meme resurrected and almost winning them around there. But at the end of the day, not going to be, and Blue get to react quickly. It was very close, but now, as you can see, out of fear, they have the Engineer and the Heavy here. Gonna be very hard for anyone to get in. Vanquish, he is gonna go water, but you know, there is gonna actually be a trade through Shutter as well, so Lau gonna try and get to point. He's gonna try and kill the Heavy. Heavy gets flashed, really good flash there. And, well, I don't know if there's really gonna be much found. Tachyon and Vanquish under. Lex is gonna find them both, so Tachyon very weak. He's not gonna get out. Elmo's gonna find his exit. Vanquish down low as well, and Elmo gotta clean up both. So very good job from Elmo, and it looks like this is gonna just be a reset on second for Red. Silver now. He's tried the Spy. He's gonna try his next best bet, and that is on the Sniper.
Yeah, I mean, this is again exactly what we were saying with how hard this last is to push out. They can sort of win that last hold and get more frags and still be unable to push out of that and just allow Rhombus to reset and try else what else they might want to try here. Silverdox, like you said, is up on sniper, does catch out Dog Breath, who I think managed to get behind.
Yeah, that's a pretty good shot to hit. To OMG and Caps in chat. Gonna be kind of resonating what that shot was like, and now it is just going to be a 1 point advantage. They're going to take this trade once again. A lot of trades coming out, and this is going to favour actually really no one at the end of the day. Both teams not going to find much in Silver, and Tachyon going down, so at the very tail end of that Uber, once again, frags being found. They want to try and get in. Vanquish also in. Lau going down, but Vanquish has realised that he probably won't get anything, and even though he's being chased, I imagine he is going to get out here.
Yeah, low health, but does meet up with his team and does manage to pull out of that one. Got a quick message from the Eye to the Sky that the game has had, I think, some more technical problems. So for now, we're going to throw it over to the analyst desk, actually, and see what they have to say about it, because at the moment it's just dead time in the server.
Well, interesting first 3 rounds, Lock, you must say.
Yeah, I think Rhombus in general have just been getting overwhelmed by Alt's team. Like, their collapses and like repushes from Alt have been really good. Like, it's caught Rhombus out quite a lot. I think that's also in part due to like the off-glassing and stuff on the team. Like, they're just not in good positions sometimes for the repushes and just get destroyed.
I think overall, again, you know, when we mentioned how they're still really disjointed when we first started this game compared to Sunshine, I think still going into this game, they're still sort of doing their own sort of things. They're not really playing together, but obviously it's only 3 rounds in, and there's still, I guess, plenty of time to see what happens. But obviously, right now we do have some server issues.
I think at the start of the map, I could see the tilt really set in on Rhombus, but I think as the game's gone on a bit, they've recovered and they're playing a bit better than they were at the start.
And he is going to go down, and this almost looks like a soap dam at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, it's just all about padding those stats, making things more impressive. Tachyon now up on Sniper, you know, Cookie up on the Pyro, Silverdox up on Sniper as well. Absolutely dead time, just 15 seconds left. There's nothing more happening in this game, ladies and gentlemen. So I guess I like what they've thought about this one.
Again, 4-1, 5-1, same thing, close enough.
Ghost, nice.
Yeah, I mean, look, to be honest, what can we game? Because looking for the logs, when we're having a quick peek, Vanquish was having a really rough game up until this end part. He was going 3 for 11 at one point with 156 DPM. Obviously, he pulled it back in the end, but for the side of Alt and the humans, they play really well. Doge getting 32 kills, 65 DPM. Almost all doing quite well. Alt himself actually doing really well. And Daz, same thing. But otherwise, the side of rhombus craniums, the only players I guess that were doing something, I guess, were Lau, Cookie. I mean, really hard to tell. Lau did pretty well, and obviously Cookie as well. But otherwise, everyone else wasn't too good this map, and it was their pick as well.
I think going by the logs, Cookie definitely had a lot better game. Like, he's top damage for the team. Wow, sort of like in fourth for the damage, taking 29% heals. You'd hope he'd be like top damaging or a lot closer than that. Yeah, Doge going 32 and 18, and the one that immediately sticks out to me looking at the logs is the medic deaths. Like, Doggerel has 5 to Essence is 15. Like,
but thing is, the 15 as well. Some of it might have been in dead time, but otherwise, it's still fair bit.
So to be like 3 or 4 in dead time, it's still quite a lot more. In terms of the Ubers, and the 5 less Ubers because of that, which is pretty significant.
But then you go look at the mid fights as well. It is still pretty even. Like the scoreline 4-1, maybe roll for the side of Alton and Co. But otherwise, mid fights it's still even 3-3 respectively to each team. But again, when we point out for the soldiers for the side of rhombus craniums, Tachyon, you said obviously Tachyon got subbed out to get Holson or someone in when you said the start. I mean, this game, looking at the stats, what do you think happened?
It did a bit better, I think. The mids that they were winning, Rhombus, were the mids that they were going like super aggressive straight onto them, and in general, like throughout the whole match, when in fights and stuff, when they just decided to go full chaos mode on them, like they were winning all the fights, which I think they need to just keep doing that. Like whenever they try and play passive or try and hold a position, like they just try and take like 6 1v1s rather than like fight as a team. So they just get overrun by Alt, who are quite good at focusing players and like collapsing.
I think as well, obviously now to clear cut, which you haven't really played a whole lot. Is that correct?
No, I haven't played it at all.
I think it's going to be an interesting map. It's obviously Koth, so do you think this favors Rhombus Craniums in a bit of sort of like DM sort of side, just going in, kill, chaos, do whatever, just, go over the place pretty much for the side of Rhombus?
Yeah, I don't know. I noticed when I was watching them as well, like I think Rhombus they were playing a bit too confident on the last pushes. Like they're ending a lot more forward than they probably should have, expecting to just out-DM them, but I think their team's actually at the DM disadvantage, so I think they haven't quite realised that themselves yet, so they're probably playing a bit too overconfident. So I think on Koth they're going to struggle as well, because Doge and Elmo have been having really good kills and cleaning a lot of stuff up.
I think clear cut as well, you can't compare it to your Koth product, because you see this mid, it's actually not mid, this Koth, it's bigger than product by the looks of things, just simply, just looking at bird's eye, or just looking at the map in general. I think the mid is quite bigger compared to product, so you can't play sort of like a product style where it's a lot smaller and, everyone can sort of help each other really easily. Another thing as well, I think we should keep an eye on the soldier bombs as well, because you can actually do some really sort of double bombs as well off these 2 pillars in the map. So this bunker position will be key to see how they obviously hold it, because this is your safe area for essentially, let's say you have a medic, you're full Uber ad, your safe area to sort of hold in this bunker position. It'll be interesting to see how they opt to use it.
Yeah, definitely. I've watched a few streams and stuff of people playing it, but yeah, I think they'll probably try having. I don't know how good it doesn't seem that good for a sniper necessarily this map, but I think we'll probably see Silvo and Sniper.
Silvo will definitely do something. A sniper on this map, I feel like. Again, obviously on Gully Wash, he actually pulled out a sniper and actually hit some good shots, but otherwise, Alt and the humans coming through with the 4-1 victory. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we see an off-class on this map, and this also could be possibly the last map, and if it's not, going order, which is your standard pug map, and what Cookie, whatever they're saying is, I can't fully forgot, but you probably know what I'm talking about. It's your standard sort of sixes map.
Yeah. It's surprising that they haven't had any class changes. Like they're committing to this roster, rhombus cranium. Like I think Paulson's online. Like he definitely could have played, and I think Riot's online as well. Like they definitely could have swapped people out if they wanted to.
Enrif is the one offline, but he could be in offline mode. I'm not entirely sure, obviously.
Yeah.
But Paulson's on, Riot's on. So definitely there's players to switch out, but obviously choosing not to. And even if they do, they're not. It's not even asking for them because they're on their roster, so it's very easy, quick sub in, sub out sort of situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we're just waiting for the players to ready up. Not much else to add really from that previous map or to this one. I'm not sure. Do you have anything else you want to say as well?
Not really. I think it's just the scouts of blue are just dominating the whole map, the whole game, the whole like series. Like they just can't do anything to it. I think the part of the reason that Alt's team's so good at collapsing and focusing players and stuff is I think having Doge as the combo scout. Like he'll be screaming at what to shoot, and people will listen to him.
I think another thing as well is to see, has Cookie actually played this map before? That's another good interesting thing because
Definitely hasn't played on demo. I don't think
demo for this map or in general. I don't think I've seen. I don't. Correct me if I'm wrong. Have you seen it or not?
The time I saw the Rhombus team play it, I don't think Cookie was playing. No.
Okay, so this is going to be interesting to see if he actually knows the rollout as well. He hasn't played it as demo.
I mean, it's Koth. The rollout's not too bad, but it has got a bit of area to get to mid, so I could see it making a difference, but probably not on a Koth.
See what happens, and quick predictions as well. I'm going to stick with a 3-1.
Yeah, I'll go 3-2 just to be different.
All right, well, there you have it from our analysts, 3-1 and 3-2. This is going to be the match point for Alt's team here coming into the Season 31 Grand Finals of the ozfortress. You're watching CappingTV, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a good match so far. Lucky, take us on the mid.
Well, here we go, straight away. Blue aggressing with a soldier behind. Elmo going to follow up as well. And it's going to be some trade frags here, but Essence is in a lot of trouble here. He's going to get found. Lau, he is going to be behind them as the demo now. He's going to go jump deep. Cookie's going to try and find something, but he is going to get found. And straight away, first mid, pretty dominant for the side of blue once again.
Yeah, I mean, pretty brutally crushed there from Rhombus Craniums. They don't even keep their meta cup, which means they're not going to be able to sort of contest this super quickly. Likely to see some kind of either sack play or just a lot of forward pressure here to try to get a force up. Not a super safe position from Alt and the humans. Might not need it anyway, given how much their scouts have been just shutting down any opposition.
Yeah, and we'll see what I assume maybe a full-man sack here, as they are sending players here. They all come, but the classic bunker strat that has been popularized the more this map has been played, and well, they're not going to find anyone as Tachyon. Well, actually no, the force comes out massive at the end there from Tachyon, weaseling his way into the bunker, and once the soldier gets into the bunker, it's actually kind of hard to kill him as he bounces around quite a lot, shooting rockets and getting hit by, enemy rockets and stuff like that. And now, they are going to try and do a bit of a forward hold to try and force this Uber out, but I don't think they're going to find much. Lex is going to go down, Elmo's going to go in deep, but he's not going to find the shots needed. He's going to go down. They did find 2 frags in return there, Blue, so it does allow them to stay a tiny bit longer. As I say that, their ult will go down, and now they can probably take this mid pretty much for free with no contesting.
This is exactly what Rhombus Craniums wanted to off that. They got the force out, and now they're holding with their own full Uber advantage, but Uber is coming up very quickly for Alt and the humans, and they like to play this very aggressively, as we've seen so far. So we might see a trade coming out here as they sort of try to take this position on their right side. And
yeah, here we come. It is going to be even Ubers. First even Uber fight where a team has the cap, and it is going to be Soldier going behind, and they are sitting quite passive here. I don't know if they're expecting a 4-man or something here. Maybe looking to trade on point here now, and here it comes. Lau going to do the trade, and they do flash quite a bit here, Red, so they might be a bit of a disadvantage at the end of this Uber. The Uber's already ended. There's a bit of blue Uber left, but they haven't taken a huge amount of ground here. The health is pretty, mediocre for the side of Red Team, and that's what they're going to collapse on. Elmo going to come in behind, and he is going to be able to find almost 3 frags there, as Dad's going to clean that last one up, and well, they're going to take the point. and it is going to be a pretty sizable 40 to 30% ad.
Yeah, some didn't point out there, but Silverdox is actually on heavy. They were really prepared to sort of sit, hold up inside that garage and never have to use, but they didn't really count on just the pressure coming out from Alt and the humans. And, you know, that didn't allow them to contest that point while just sitting in that shack. It's a big downside for them.
And here we come, the aggression from Red. They know that the blue team doesn't have Uber just yet, and they are going to trade frags here. Attacking going down, but Alt also going to go down. But now Blue are trying to get a little bit more aggressive. They know they have this Uber to work with. Well, Daz almost gets air shot there, but he is going to live. And now Red have to really concede their losses. They also lost Essence in that, so... you know, now they are just going to have to, you know, probably just do salvage mode here, and it's going to come in straight away. And there's the Force. Great bomb there by Tachyon, and some help from Vanquish, and that is going to be able to get the Force out. And that is what they need to, you know, get this almost a minute and a half lead off of this clock.
Exactly, that was almost the worst case scenario there for Rhombus Craniums, but now they're sitting into a situation where they did manage to force that Uber out of Alt's team, so now it's just about forward pressure, but they do lose their demo man as they're trying to push it.
Yeah, this chaos forward hold that Blue like to do, it was working out for them. They're trying to find a few frags. At this time they just get collapsed upon, and Elmo trying to do his best to salvage anything there, but Silver is going to shut that down, and now this is a good chance for them to hold. They will have an Uber advantage, around about 60 to 70% even, maybe. It looks like it's just going to even out at 60 here, so that's still a nice ad, and they are going to do this nice forward hold as well, so forward hold is a little bit easier in terms of the choke points. It's very tight, so they can hold this pretty easily compared to products, so they are going to just be holding these choke points. Alt going to jump through. He's going to get taken down very low. Elmo going to fight Vanquish on the flank here. Vanquish is going to get taken down quite low, but the other scout comes in, but he's not going to hit the shots needed. And Vanquish is going to go down, but they do trade with Elmo, but since you lose one player, that triggers the forward hold to be stopped.
This does still look pretty decent for Rhombus Craniums here. Is getting a player there has made them lose the forward hold, but they still have that point, and they still have full Uber on it, without letting Alt and the humans get to any position out of their spawn there. Now they're just going to see how well they can hold this, if they decide to go back and shed again, or if they just want to sort of hold this across point and get ready for that point pressure coming out from Alt's team.
Well, speaking of that point pressure, here it comes, and the trap going to drop down Doge straight away. And this trade is going to come out. It looks like it is favoring Red a little bit. The positioning is very good here. Silver going to jump deep, but also Alt going to go behind. Silver, he did jump deep, but it's not being followed up too much now. But Tachyon going to jump in. The health is pretty bad on the side of Blue. And really, it's just about what can be salvaged from Alt. He's not going to find anything. Almost going to find a frag. The Ham coming out to find Tachyon. And that is better for Blue, because they actually get better spawners because they don't have the gap.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the worst possible situation for Rhombus Craniums. They did take a lot of time off that clock. With 14 seconds on the time for Alt's team, they really can't afford to lose this here. They're going to have to immediately re-aggress this and retake that point to not lose this round right here. Yeah,
and they are going to try and fight this pretty much dry. No team is Uber yet. They are coming close. It looks like Blue might actually get it first. And they also have the better positioning right now. Cookie is so weak. They're going to have to arrow Cookie before they're able to, you know, attempt to cap this point. And they are fighting, but 2 players go down, and that includes Essence. Alt is going to find 3 frags there to close out this round. Silver, you can't do anything against invincible players. Tachyon is going to do his best, but he only finds 1. And that is going to be the first round once again, just like every other map, to the Alt team.
Yeah, I mean, now this is a situation where Rhombus Craniums are going to be feeling pretty rough about this. They need to win this map, otherwise they've lost the series. And so they're going to be putting everything they have in it. They still have 2 more rounds of wiggle room that they can go here, but this mid is still very important for them.
And speaking of this man, Tachyon, he is going to go deep right, not going to be able to find anything. And he's actually going to go down super early as Alt. He's going to go jump in, Vanquish going down, and already this is a disaster for Red. They're going to have to leave straight away. Elmo going to try and chase his frag. He's going to go all the way into spawn, but sees that Essence gets through to shut a door to safety, so he's going to leave, but even with no med frag, that is insane. I mean, they did lose Doggerel actually, I did not see that. So that's why Elmo was chasing so hard, so good job there. That is actually quite good for Red. And now they are just going to have to defend their medic as they try and come in.
Yeah, this is the position Red wants to be in now. Full Uber advantage, pushing on to this point. They need to try to take it as cleanly as possible, because otherwise it's going to be another leapfrog. They need to be able to sustain on this point and take quite a lot of time. They are taking quite a lot of good position here without forcing the medic, and they almost have that cap. As long as they clean up those players behind, they should get this quite easily.
They do lose Silver in the process, and Vanquish is fighting Alt, and that's good, because Alt was proving a bit of a problem when he came in behind during those Chaos fights, so they deal with him. Losing Silver isn't too bad, he's on the 3-second spawn right now, so now they might actually take the lead for really the first time in this Koth.
Yeah, and that's the lead that they really need, and they need to hold this on for a really long time. There's Uber still being built by Alt's team. It's looking like they're gonna go for a sack because they're taking a lot of space. Huge demo bomb into behind onto them on the Essence, and he gets him, gets the drop.
As I said, as everything seems to be going their way, something happens to Rhombus that just completely halts this progress, and now, once again, we just see Alt's team going to be in the driving seat. They may be down, but it is all up to Rhombus to find this, salvage pick that Alt's team has been doing a really good job on. Tachyon is going to be hiding in the house on top of the woodpile, so he's going to be the key for this. And, well, Daz just goes down to a bunch of spam, so that's really good from Cookie to find Daz. Tachyon coming in now, he's going to get the force, and that is exactly what they needed.
The force, the flash, and he survives. Doesn't get out of there, just not quite. Silver going down as well is going to force Rhombus Craniums to pull out and concede this space and this point. But they now do have Uber advantage, which is coming up pretty close to Alt's team, but it's substantial enough that they're going to be able to take another good push with this. They need to try to do what they did last time and take this point without really using it, but it doesn't look like Alt's team is going to let this happen.
Lau leading the charge, trying to take the top right roof for them. A very important spot is now they want to be able to enter here, clear all the traps that are there from the demo. Essence swinging wide so he doesn't get dead on that trap. Alt going down very weak. He's going to go down to Lau's pistol, and well, they are actually going to take this pretty cleanly with no issues. Lex also attempting, and only person they lose once again is Silver to Elmo, so they will have to deny Silver, which is the bad part of this, but all in all, they're still up around about 30 seconds right now.
Yeah, these Rhombus retakes have been really good for them because they're up 30 seconds and now it's even Ubers. They have an Uber charge to defend this point with, which is a position that they're happy to be in, clearly, as long as they can sort of hold off these players for Silver Dogs to arrive and fortify the defensive line.
Well, Tachyon is going to go down straight away, caught out a little bit. This trade does come out, and already this is going to be favouring blue because they are down a player. So the positioning won't be fantastic here. Cookie is going to be trying to stick off point to deny any aggression, and Lex is actually going to go down. So this is going to be ended up into like an even player fight right now, as Cookie is just going to be doing his best at sticking the point. As Silver going to be jumping the top left roof, trying to get Alt off of that, as the roofs are so important to control here. Here comes an Alt bomb. They've been really good so far this match, and Silver are going to be doing a good counter bomb as Cookie is going to be finding a demo frag onto Daz. Alt is going to find Vanquish here, but he's going to get traded. Actually, no, Tachyon finding the med, as they are down damage players here, but look at the health on blue, it's horrendous. Someone needs to save Essence, and Loud does. He comes in to save, and now, well, blue are going to have to back out, and this is not looking really good for blue right now.
No, this whole round has been on perfectly for Rhombus Craniums. They're again finding themselves in a position of holding the point with a massive Uber advantage, and the humans have just been unable to get them off this point so far, as they've been doing really well just to hold their medic back and defend them from anyone coming close.
Well, here comes that fast, deep behind bomb from Lex, and it's going to be enough damage to force the medic. But the time on the clock still doesn't favour him. The force is good and finding picks, but their med goes down. They should be able to close this out. Alt on the point. He's going to go down. Elmo can't get to point in time. Neither can Daz. And that is the first round in a while that we have seen from Rhombus Craniums.
This is now where they're starting to turn things around. Their mental's going to be a lot better going into this as well, as they just have to now keep doing what they've been doing and not get caught out by any alternating plays made by Alt's team.
And here we go. Another fight to fight for this first cap of the control point. Silver gonna go deep behind. Alt also gonna mirror that. Tachyon going very deep here. Massive bomb. Good damage there onto Dogrel, but it's not gonna be enough as Dogrel's just gonna have great movement. And Essence, well, he can't replicate the same now. He's gonna go down, and just as I said, just as it looks like they're going their way. Actually, no, oh my goodness, Cookie! He's gonna find a pipe that kills 2 in 1. And great salvage there, and that's what they needed. It looks like it wasn't going to go their way for a second there, but that salvage is good even if they don't get the cap first.
Pretty rough for Essence there, going down to Alt's behind play, just gets 2 clean rockets, but they've set up really well for repush here, as they've got a medic with a little bit of Uber advantage and slightly better player spawns to give them better pressure for this retake.
Yeah, and this retake is pretty clean. They just find 2 frags there, one onto Daz, one onto Doge, and well, now they're just going to be able to take this point and pretty much just grind out here, and pretty much just going to be an even fight. I doubt we will see a sack from Blue, as the Ubers are just way too close. So Blue now grindy out, Red now grindy out, and it looks like the time is going to be pretty even by the time that Blue enters. So whoever's win this fight, that'll be a nice turning point for them to get that time advantage. But Daz, he's too early. He wants to go, and he gets surprised by a Soldier Bomb. Almost gets caught out, but is able to get out right now. And here we go. Blue now grouping up. They just got their Uber. They want to go. And we're going to see if they're going to be able to retake this point from Red. Silver jumping deep. He's not going to find anything. Tachyon also on the roof, but he's going to take a lot of damage. Daz alone on the right, but no one can really jump him because the soldiers are so weak. They're going to come across the point now. Blue trying to fight this. They're going to be careful with the trap on the box. Silver goes deep. So does Ult. Ult again. Ult is finding another force here. And Dogrel does also force, but at the end of the day, it looks like they flash more on the side of Red, and here comes Lex. He's behind. Essence isn't healthy. Lau's going to find Lex, but there we go. Doge's going to find Cookie. Cookie kind of left alone there as he couldn't really do a huge amount. 2 scouts and a medic versus just 1 more damage class on the ult side, and well, they're going to have to concede, but during that fight, they actually got a lot of time on Cap, and their med lived, so really, I don't see that as a loss for them.
No, absolutely not. They've been doing a really good job keeping the medical alive. And, you know, they're looking to continue this kind of legacy. They've got a better time on this point and a little bit of Uber advantage. They've been getting really good pressure for these retakes. At this stage, it's not looking too bad for Rhombus Craniums. They're just getting forward players and on house. They're going to need to keep their medical alive from ult, though, because he has been... He goes down to the trap.
That is heartbreak. That's exactly what you won't know. I mean, they do get a force, which is, again, quite good, but they didn't even get capped there, so... They just will, it's just time ticking down on the clock, and they are going to lose this advantage that they had, but that's the last thing you want to go down to a trap. These traps are actually quite deadly on this point, as you're so focused on what's ahead, and you just don't see the trap, but 2 frags do go the way of Red, so that is going to be helpful, as looks like they did go for a bit of a half-hearted forward hold, and they are going to lose 2 players, and Red, they're actually going to be able to cap point quicker than I was thinking.
This is now not too bad of a situation for Rhombus. Because of that force, even though they lost their mid to that trap there, they are going to have not Uber advantage, but they're going to have roughly even Ubers. However, Ult's team does like pushing this super aggressively. If they hold too far forward, this could be super easy to get their medic caught out by any players who decide to just balls in with that beam on them, which might look like what they're planning on to, but those frags are going to be super helpful for them here, because now they're going to have to wait for those to come back up while Rhombus Craniums gets their Uber.
Yeah, here we go. We're seeing this forward hold once again from Rhombus. Gonna be able to try and deny them out of this point. Maybe even get a force out or something as they try and enter. It is very hard to get out of this forward hold sometimes. Silver going super deep, trying to find something, and a bit overzealous, not going to be able to find anything. And of course, once you lose a player in a forward hold, you really just have to back up, as every player plays an important role in the forward hold.
On a King of the Hill map as well, losing that player means he's not going to be coming back. Tachyon going down, as well as going to give them 2 soldiers down for this fight. Perfect chance for Ult's team to push forward and try to take this off.
Yeah, and this trade, it isn't looking too great for Red, but also not looking too great for Blue. No real winners out of that. Soldier going behind once again. Ult, he's been causing havoc in those backlines. As well, here come the frags. Ult will be found, but in the front lines is where they lost all their players. Silver, oh my goodness, massive rockets. But those rockets are not going to be able to kill Dogrel, and that's just such a shame for Silver, because he did such a good job, and that salvage was almost there, but just not quite.
Yeah, it's now not looking too bad for Rhombus, even though they don't have the point there. They still do have better time on the clock, even if it's only by 30 seconds, and they've been trying to have pretty decent control over this, and an ability to retake almost whenever they want. This is not the last fight, but they will have to move very quickly if they want to squeeze anything else out of this point.
And the worst part right now is that Essence is taking a lot of damage to get in. There is going to be a trade Silver for Ult, but Vanquish also going to get traded out. But the health on Blue is just not great, and Dogrel gets forced as well. So Cookie's going to have to jump out. He might not live this jump out. No, he's definitely not. So there is a saving grace here, as I've said quite a few times already, that this Uber advantage now that they can use to try and push out and hopefully get this cap back for them.
I mean, so far Rhombus has not failed a single one of these Uber ad pushes out onto this point. Ult's team is going to have to play really hard to try to keep this in face of the super advantage, get a super early force, which they haven't managed to do. Ult is behind though. If he survives any longer, he goes down, however.
Yeah, and that is going to be really good for them, because they have been struggling with the ult behind, and Elmo is going to be able to find Silver, and that's good for them, as the spawn is going to be a 10-second spawn for Silver, so even if he does get back into the fight, he's not going to be extremely healthy. As now red, it is going to be even Ubers here. 19 seconds on the clock left for them. They have to hold this point and be able to win this fight to be able to take this. They take an early trade here. They force a flash onto Daz. Tachyon going behind. Going to be able to pincer here. This is going to have to be a perfect movement, but he's going to actually find the frag onto ult, and then it's going to be really important. Silver will go down here. Tachyon is going to find another frag behind onto Doge. Elmo finding another frag. Elmo's finding a third actually here. But it looks like red is actually going to be able to do it. Nobody on the point. And then it's going to be a second round. That's 2 rounds in a row now for red.
Right now, Alden Humans has to make sure that Rhombus Craniums does not get one more round, because one more round going through and they've lost this map. Right now, Rhombus Craniums has to be feeling pretty good. They have been doing really well at pushing through this. And again, we're showing up to another map.
Yeah, and already pretty standard stuff once again. No soldiers even going behind just yet, but ult looks like he wants to do it. Silver gonna go in deep, but the scouts are just so good on blue. Gonna do a lot of damage. He's gonna take the pack. Tachyon also behind, so the attention for blue is quite split. Ult goes down to Lau. Daz gonna go down as well. Doe's trying to salvage, but he's not gonna be able to do much, as Lex also can't do much against 2 scouts currently in this meta, and well, Elmo, he's gonna try and save his metas. He's done quite well of doing recently. He's actually going to find a frag onto Lau, which is actually very important. And he's also going to find Vanquish. That is going to make it so much easier for his team to push into this point.
Yeah, dying to that roller from Cookie there. The Iron Bomber is a disgusting weapon, but it's not going to matter. Like you said, 2 scouts down, going to be a walk in the park to retake this point. Scouts are so important on cloth maps, and losing 2 of them just before a fight is a great way to do nothing. But the medic drops to a huge bomb out. Wait, no, that's why the demo man, is it?
Yeah, I don't know if that was a roller or if the demo actually bombed. I kind of missed who actually got the last hit in there, if it was direct or not. But either way, that's a drop, and again, this is going to be in the favor of Rhombus, and as of recent, they've actually been converting off these advantages that they have. They also have a clock advantage, so really, this is a really good scenario for them. They just have to be able to push through here without taking too much spam.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, this is now looking for a pretty good situation for them. They have been forced to use again, which isn't really the best situation for them. They're not really able to continue what they were doing the last 2 rounds, which is taken without using that Uber, because they're going to be put on the Uber disadvantage now. But they have the point anyway. They can't be too unhappy about that. They're going to have a time advantage once it ticks down just a little bit. So now it just is how well they can defend against this ult Uber advantage push.
Yeah, that's the perfect force that you want if you're Ult's team. Not too much time disadvantage on the clock, and it's going to be pretty clean to retake this. They just have to, do that death ball and sit around their medic. Tachyon doing, oh my goodness, this bomb is massive, but Daz actually finds himself in the crossfire, which isn't actually too bad of a pick, but Cookie, he's going to try and recreate what he just did moments ago, but it's not going to be able to happen, and a good attempt at a sack, and it does delay the cap a tiny bit, and by the time that they get Uber and push in, the time's going to be pretty similar.
Yeah, it's been a really close fight over this point so far. The times, like you said, have been pretty similar. Now it's time for Red to come out with an even Uber push. They have been succeeding so far, but it is the perfect time for Alden the Humans to sort of get the super forward play here that Alt usually does. But he has just decided to wander off behind his own team, so unlikely that we're going to see a lot of pressure.
Oh, here comes the force once again. Essence has to go deep with Lau to get a force out, and they're not going to have anything. Everyone's just trying to find Ult behind, and Ult is he's just causing havoc. Once again, he gets out as well, and in the meantime, Elmo finds a frag onto Silver, so again, not great for the side of Rhombus, but they can also start to retake this. They get spawners, and it's just going to be another dry fight, even players.
Yeah, again, a situation that Rhombus has just been failing in just a little bit recently. They have kind of been points, times still are pretty even, but Rhombus kind of lost that momentum that they had. They're unable to sort of guarantee this point cap, as Essence been taking quite a bit of damage going through. Silver goes for a massive bomb and dies, however, which is going to make it brutal for them to try to push.
Yeah, and frags going both teams' ways, as Vanquish and Tachyon going down for red, but Elmo are also going to go down late there, but the health on red is just quite terrible. Again, they're just not coming out on top of these dry fights right now, and they really need to be able to come out on top to just close out this game.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they've been succeeding so far in the dry fights. Even when they have Uber advantage, just being able to take that without using has been so crucial for them. They're just not being able to do it so far. It's like they've got a target on the medic, and the medic forces Uber to a very little amount of damage there, getting the 2 force on the out of the ults team. And losing the demo, they lose a scout, inside that shack. Just going to even things out for them.
Almost deja vu, but this time Oh, Cookie actually going down, but they do trade with Lex. They have great position on point. They actually cap it, which will actually, I think, deny some of their spawns at the end of the day. So Vanquish gets a gold arrow there from Essence, but at the end of the day, this is not great. Blue are just going to recap, not deny anyone. They have 25 seconds on the clock. That's not enough time for an Uber to come out, so they are going to have to dry fight once again. And out of the last 3, it's been 3 for Alt's team, so we'll have to see if they can get the clutch one that they need.
This relatively even time is not looking even anymore. There needs to be an immediate push right now, getting onto the point by Rhombus Craniums. Sure enough, Soldier goes in. Lots of players dying though. They get absolutely demolished by that Uber, and it's a very easy hold for Alt's team.
The momentum that Rhombus had has now been halted by Alt's team, and this could be the very last round of the Prem Grand Finals, as we are going to be rolling out to a mid. It is 2-2, the closest game we've had so far. Next round wins. This determines if Alt's team takes home the victory early or not, as now both soldiers going very deep here. Straight away, Doggerel is a target, but he is going to get, saved by his team. Daz is going to go down though. That is not great for Blue here, as Cookie is just inside of the enemy team. He looks like part of their combo right now, but he's somehow going to live. But no, he actually gets found by Lex. Lau is going to find Lex though, and it looks like overall Red just has the better players here to be able to take this point. Elmo wants to fight, but all in all, they're not going to be able to. But now Elmo, he wants to refight. He has the players, but the positioning isn't fantastic. But Alt is going to be able to retake that roof, and Essence is going to use here. But the Dogger goes down, and that is going to be massive here. As now it's just going to be a presumed sack wave from the Alt team, and well, it's going okay so far. Essence half HP, a lot of frags going their way, which is good either way. Alt is going to jump onto the roof. He's too weak probably to do anything, and the person we want to be watching right now is Elmo, but he's also being caught out. Alt, final chance. He goes down, and they keep Essence alive.
Man, that was non-stop action. That was probably the longest possible mid-fight we could get in, even if Rhombus Cranium took it in the middle of that. That's going to be really good for them, because now they've gotten a minute off the clock and Uber advantage to hold this. Even though it's not too much to buy, this is exactly what they want to be in for the match point of this map and their tournament life.
Yeah, exactly. A minute ahead right now. That is perfect. Alt gonna do his deep behind jump. Essence gonna be in here in the bunker. He's gonna go down. Lex gonna find a frag. He's gonna find 2. Finding 1 is incredible, but finding 2, just absolutely insane play from Lex there. And now this, well, once again, a shift of the momentum here, which is much needed for the Alt team, as they are a whole minute 30 down. So, Red do have time to play with, but not ideal, as they will pretty much have to concede this point. Cookie going down, not holding much of a defense against the whole team, and they are just going to have to reset here, and I assume for a 4-man sack.
Yeah, pretty easy retake there for Alt's team. Like you said, setting up for the 4-man sack, they've got the medic inside Shack, they've got the stickies up, prepared to weather this defensively. It's going to see whether Rhombus Craniums decides to pressure this or decides to go for that sack. So they're kind of getting forward with a lot of their players, even with Essence actually. And here comes the sack.
Silver going early as Tachyon is going to get into the bunker late. They are going to be found. And really, Toggerel's taken, I think, 10 damage in total in that total sack. Actually, maybe not even a point of damage. And there we go. The 4-man sack has been denied, as they are quite hard to deny on any Koth map. So well done from the Alt team there. And now we are going to be even Ubers, but still, I want to be stressed, and if I was Red, they still have a massive time advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. This is something that they can be comfortable sort of throwing themselves at again and again. Even Ubers are fights that they were winning on those last 2 rounds. So let's see how well they manage to leverage it this time, if they can manage to keep Essence alive. Of course, he hasn't dropped so far this map.
And here we go, a classic trade on point here. A few more flashes from Blue, but the player advantage does go to Blue. Essence gonna go down to Doge. Cookie, he's defenseless, he's gonna go down. But Vanquish, that is the massive pick that they needed. He comes in, weasels his way in, and just pistols the medic down to death. Perfect from Vanquish there. He's done it a few times now, and that's gonna actually generate a tiny bit of a nab for them as well.
This is now the best opportunity that Rhombus Cranium has to finally retake this point. The times are finally evening out, so they really want to get this down and try to, again, create another large lead, as they're taking some pretty forward space here and should be able to pick up this point without getting contested at all.
The only defense on the point is some stickies, and well, Daz can't get them when he's dead. Soldier actually does come in. He's going to find Cookie, and Tachyon also going to go down as well. Lex is going to go deep. He's going to try and help. Lao takes a direct, but he is going to be able to avoid the rest, but the blue team can just swarm onto point. Vanquish is alone. He's going to go down. Lao is going to be so weak. He can't fight. Elmo behind. He won't find anything. The scout trying to salvage. Essence is on 10 points of health, but he is going to live, and well, I mean, that's what they needed, but these Ubers, well, they're going to even up, essentially.
That could have been absolutely disastrous for Rhombus Cranium. Still not a bad position for them. They do have to retake the points. Their lead is still, again, pretty slim, but those players dying on Alt's team side has given them that little bit of wiggle room that they might want to take this point solidly without any pressure on them so far. As long as they can keep Essence pressure-free and not getting bombed by too many players, then they should be able to, hopefully for them, squeeze this out for a little bit more time.
They had a 1 minute 30 lead. It is now even times. Blue going to be doing a deep double bomb here, trying to find some picks. Lao is going to find the opening frag onto Doge, but they do use earlier. And oh my goodness, the milk out of dog roll is just insane. He still has not used. He uses now very late, and they're going to try and use the rest of this Uber just to destroy the rest of the Rhombus Craniums. But massive bomb from Silver. He's going to find so much damage. No frag. Cookie trying to follow up, and Daz goes down, but you know, dog roll, he's going to be alive. Still attempts at salvage from the scouts. Vanquish and Lao, the scout duo here, they're not going to be able to find anything just yet. Lao is going to go down, so Vanquish, it's up to him. And he looks like he wants to go for the med here, but he also wants to get out, but he can't do so, and this is not great. They are at a 60% Uber disadvantage.
60% Uber disadvantage, but they do have a very small amount of time on the point. They've got enough time to build this up. Very close, but they do have enough time to build this up again to get their Uber charge and contest us with even Ubers if they want to. But they're going to have to move very quickly once they get.
Here, they decide to look like they want to drive out here, maybe try and force the medic and then kite. They're going to pressure the point, and I assume a trade is going to come out from bunker. Here it is. They have the flash too, but how many frags can the blue team get with this Uber? There's the first, there's the second, there's the third, and this could be the nail in the coffin here. They will keep Essence alive, not for long. This could be the end of the grand finals right now. Essence going down. There is 10 seconds left for the ult team on point. I don't see much that can be done to be stopped. Silver is going to try and come in. 6 seconds left on the cap for blue. They're going to have to touch the cap, but they also don't have heals to do anything with. This could be it. Silver going down. Now Vanquish touching the point. He's going to have to fall off. It's just Lao. Now Cookie, and it is going to also be Tachyon. He's going to go down. Cookie here. Essence 1v6 here. It is over. That is the grand finals. Alt's team will take the victory 3-0 in the Prem Grand Finals.
What a difference to what we could see out of this team last season. I mean, I know they called them Alt and the Humans a lot, but they are a different team. They are just called Alt this time. But there they go. Convincing victory. 3 maps taken down out of the best of 5 to become the new ozfortress champions for Season 31 Premier Division. I mean, that was crazy. We had a lot of action there. It was an insane game. Really fun to watch. But what do our analysts have to say about it?
Look, that was probably the closest game of the series, score-wise.
What up, guys? How's it going?
Well, I mean, Silver was coming for the interviews, completely cutting off our analysts.
I think what I noticed was Rhombus were playing a lot better with like the spawn waves. So, when Rhombus had the point, they were trading players out a lot more than what Alt's team were doing, and that worked in their favor quite a lot. I think Vanquish was kind of struggling a bit on Scout. He was not able to finish a lot of frags that you'd probably expect him to normally do. And I noticed that Rhombus Scouts were kind of not playing high ground as much as Alts. And it's probably because Daz was like shooting them, whereas Cookie wasn't really shooting any players off the high ground that much.
One thing as well to point out, again, looking at the logs, Doge actually had a really good... Oh, Doge and Elmo both had a really good game. 1 frag difference, 38, 37 kills respectively. 38 for Doge, 37 for Elmo. And Elmo, 11 beat damage, definitely doing really well as the scout. But then again, I think both scouts obviously playing it, and what you mentioned off of the side of Alt. But then one thing I want to point out as well is Alt's going behind, definitely causing a little bit of distraction, definitely played off and actually was really good. But then at the same time as well for the side rhombus cranium, doing sort of the same thing, mirroring them exactly. Tachyon doing it and actually getting stuff done for it. And I think even though his logs don't mirror that, I think he actually did quite well this game, just sort of, you know, distracting and going behind the chaos. But otherwise, what again, probably from the last game, Locke, when you mentioned about medic deaths, 14 deaths to 9, 14 for Essence and 9 for Dog Roll. Big difference, but otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely what you said about the ult going behind a lot. I think ult's team wasn't really like playing off aggression so much on the mids. They were more relying with like ult or Lex being behind and then trying to sync up like a collapse with that rather than like trying to aggro, which was what Rhombus were doing. They were trying to just do like the deep aggro, trying to own them quick, but it wasn't. It worked most of the time.
It worked, yeah. It worked actually.
But they may like sometimes have ended up losing Essence because they lost track of ult, who'd just been behind the whole mid.
And Rhombus as well, Tachyon slowly doing. I think it worked out occasionally for them, but obviously in the end, ult and the humans came out on top. Map again as well. We point, you know, Cookie not playing this map that often. I didn't really pay attention to rollout, but I think roughly they go around the same time, so not much of a difference. Not playing the map, and obviously Daz playing the map constantly.
Yeah, you definitely notice it with the like the fights, as I said before. Like the Daz was focusing high ground a lot, which meant Alt and Lex had a lot more free reign to jump around. That was definitely noticeable in the sack waves as well. Like the scouts and stuff. Like I think the problem that Rhombus were having is they were having like 6 players in the bunkers, so it makes it easier to get in because that's the only place they're standing. Whereas Alt's team would have just like Daz trapping up the front door and then like a soldier watching the back door, and everyone else was outside shooting the people as they were sacking.
I mean, you saw also how strong that hold was for, you know, the bunker hold. I mean, it definitely worked out when we saw Alt and them use it. Doggerel taking, I think, 0 points of damage, in all honesty, and that's because every single passageway was being watched. But otherwise, nothing else to really add, and, you know, good game for Alt and Co. in Season 31. Champions.
Yeah, I think that's about it. I don't know if anyone's coming from Alt's team.
Yeah, looks like all we got is Silverdox. So, well, let's get a couple of questions for Silverdox first. I imagine he's got a lot to add, right?
I'm only here because Ghost told me to come.
Oh, I said if you want to come and fucking interview, you're cool.
Right, well, we got him here now. So, man, how was that for you, I guess?
Yeah, it was alright. We had 5 scout mains, that's about it.
Oh, actually, no, but in serious note, how was it actually going into this grand final? Not sure how.
I didn't think they were that good, but apparently Alma is just the best player that's ever existed.
Did you guys scrim at all? Because obviously the only logs I found were Merc team scrims. That's about it.
Yeah,
That's very...
a bit of a no scrim team.
It's a bit of a classic Elmo. He
just like the worst player in scrims and like the best player in officials. Apparently,
he's an absolute dog meat for the whole season, but then he's the best player in the game in grand finals. It's unreal.
It's a beast.
I've experienced it in many finals.
How were the maps as well? I assume the maps you guys did you plan going to, or was it just YOLO, just fucking do whatever thing?
I think it was more of like, you know, whatever Cookie wanted to play. Honestly, it's this Cookie demo experiment.
Yeah, that was a hypothesis theorem if I've seen one.
Think it went well?
Yeah, he did alright.
Was there any discussion on swapping any players out? Was Paulson on the phone on speed dial?
No, I don't think we cared that much. I think main objective was completed this season.
It was a fun game.
Was that the Dork not making finals?
Yeah, you could say that.
So that's your victory in your books then, I guess?
Yeah.
You ever let Alt and Lex win Prem as a result, though? That's a high.
That's alright.
That's a high price to pay for.
At least Yachty didn't win Prem.
I don't know, I've got nothing else to add. Do you, Locke, or any of the other casters?
Now we can probably move on to shoutouts, I think.
Yeah, we can move on to shoutouts. So, yeah, I guess that's Ghost. You're seeing one to shout out.
Shout out to both teams for playing, and shout out to Mitch for organising a cast. Thank you very much. And now I can go back to watching a table tennis grand finals. Thank God that that's over.
All right, Lock.
Yeah, just shout out to the boys. Shout out to my team of Highlander baboons, and shout out to Longbin.
All right, Mitch, got someone to shout out? Lucky, who do you got?
Shout outs to the Splitgate boys. Shout outs to both teams tonight and CappingTV for making this coverage possible, and thank you to CappingTV for the good raid last night, roping me into this one. So that was good. Shout out to Solres, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, Silver, who you got?
Shout out to Ghost and Lock for an excellent analysis of the game.
Thank you, good sir.
Problem.
All right, yeah, I guess shout out to CappingTV, man. It's great being casting here, great for the coverage, and to my co-caster Lucky and the analyst Ghost and Lock. It's been great to have you guys. Shout out to Lock's dog now on stream. Shout out to both teams for a really good match. I mean, it was fun. It was close, especially on clear cut. So great games to watch. Shout outs to Eugene and Ben. I'm pretty sure watching this. Shout outs to Frydog for letting me borrow his webcam for this. And shout outs to Kowski and Wang for, just spamming messages to me all through the stream, trying to make me laugh about swallowing pencils. And of course, the usual shout out to the intellectual powers. Thanks for not kidnapping me this time. So yeah, I guess if that's it, then yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. That was the ozfortress Season 31 Grand Finals for Prem, taken by Alt's team. And yeah, tune into more CappingTV for next season coverage. Good night, everybody.
All done?